I'm Edward Warfield, the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Joseph Aiello, who is Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Broadway Construction Group. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Can you provide an introduction to Broadway Construction Group? Which markets you're in, just sort of the services that you provide, just a basic introduction.
So we're based in New York City. We are a full service construction manager from the pre-construction services through construction services through post-construction services. We primarily started in a ground up market and in the last 3 years have expanded into interiors. So we do interiors construction management as well. And my partner, I started from the construction side, came up from a carpentry background and construction management degree from Pratt. And my partner came from the development side, so he's an attorney, and then started in the mortgage business and then into development. So we see things from very diverse perspectives, and I think it gives us the ability to provide a real robust service to our client.
And can you introduce us to some of your recent projects, including 230 Park Avenue, the 260 Madison Avenue, just some of the recent projects that you're proud of?
So 230 Park, 260 Madison, the Opus in Westchester, um, those are interiors projects, right? They were office fit outs. I think 230 Park was for Regis, 260 Madison was for Haynes Polo, the Opus Westchester is a Marriott hotel, and we're proud of those. We're also just completed portions at the Parker Hotel, which is now a Thompson Central Park. So we just completed some of the common area lobby renovation, event space on second floor, and that's a project that's going to go on for 4 years. We're proud of that. Then in our ground up side, we've completed recently the Dime, which was a 22-story mixed use residential, 177 apartment and 150,000 square feet of commercial. That was a ground up, 2 stories below grade. Very, very interesting project. Terracotta facade, something really, really, really nice looking and in a great location at the base of the Williamsburg Bridge. You also have the Ace Hotel on Skimhorn Street, 287 key Ace that we've recently completed. We've just completed a 44 unit condo project, 526 Union in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So that's just some of the high level stuff that we've done recently, completed.
And so, who are the key members of your management team? I know you mentioned Everett Martin, but yeah, tell us a little bit more about Everett's background and the other members of your team.
So, Everard is now president of Broadway Construction Group. Um, Everard spent 20 years at Plaza. He's been here for 6+ years. Um, he's just an amazing guy. He's a very intellectual guy. He's a spiritual and emotional leader for our company, um, and he's the convex to me. I'm more of a field guy, and I have that more hands-on experience, and he's much better on the paper side, coming out of a big organization like Plaza. He just brings that big corporate um, experience to my small ball mentality. And I think between the two of us, we're a great yin and yang. And so it also enables us to be flexible, right? We can do small stuff, we can do really big stuff. So I think we round each other out really well. Um, you have David Rivera, who's been promoted to Director of Operations recently. He's also been with us for 4 or 5 years. Definitely somebody I have a lot of respect for. Again, another guy who crosses every T, dots every I, very detail oriented. You have Tim Sturgis heading up our estimating and pre-construction. John Bonanno is running technical services, basically consulting on all the projects for MEPS. Um, then you have Deke and Mark are some of our project executives. Alana is heading up our marketing. And then Risa is HR, helping us source new talent. Always very exciting, a little bit of a tough market right now.
Let's go back to the merger that took place in 2017 between Broadway Construction Group and Zephyr Construction Management. You were the founder and president of Zephyr. Tell us about that merger and how it came about, and what were some of the implications, the results of that.
So at the time that I met Broadway Construction Group, I actually was running two companies. I had Zephyr Interiors, which was my carpentry company, which I've had since 1996, and Zephyr Construction Management, which was the construction management company. And someone who had worked for me on the management side had come to work for Broadway Construction Group. And he recommended me to bid 810 Fulton Street and 61 Bond Street for Broadway Construction Group to bid it as a carpenter contractor. And during one of my scope meetings with Evrod was scoping me out. He wanted to introduce me to the owner, and he brought in Stephen Hurwitz, who was Alan, my partner's son-in-law, who was running Broadway Construction at the time, and he brought him in to just introduce me, and we had an instant connection, like like a very similar mentality, our thought processing, and what we thought about the business and how we would grow it, and the things that were important to us, and there was a lot of synergy. And then about a week or two later, I had lunch with Steven and he offered me a job. And I told him that I was flattered, which I was. But I told him I've been in business for myself since 1996. And at this point, I wasn't going to go. And this was in 2016. So after all these 20 years, I'm not going to go work for someone. I built a successful carpentry business. I've now built a successful management company. At the time, Zephyr was managing maybe 6 projects. We had about 18 people on our staff. And then we discussed the merge, and it was tough for me, being in business for myself for 20 years to now take on a partner and, have to consider someone in decision making. I thought, there was pros and cons, and I spent the better part of 3 months, really a lot of sleepless nights, just thinking about all the pros and cons to the merge. And at the end of the day, there were more pros than cons. And so we decided to merge. And on January 1st of 2017, I kind of joined forces with Broadway Construction Group. It wasn't technically a merger, but it was a merger in terms. And looking back now, having 5 years and being able to look back, it was definitely the right move for both of us. I think for Broadway Construction Group and for me personally, I think it worked out really well for both of us. I think we both benefited from the merge. After my first year in 2017, Stephen decided to walk away and start his own development company, which he did, and he's growing, and we stay in touch, and he's doing very well. And that's the point where, after working with Evrod for a year, I realized that, he was definitely the best person to succeed Stephen as the president of Broadway Construction Group. I discussed it with Alan. He deferred to me, and we made the announcement. And again, now having 4 years after making that decision, I look back and it was also a good move for both of us. I think it's showing Everard the respect that he deserved, and he's just the right guy for the role. He has all the attributes that you'd want in a leader.
And so, what are some of the major milestones after the merger? If you go back over the last 4 or 5 years, what are some important?
One of the big things was finishing up the Beekman, because when I merged, the Beekman was at the 80-85% complete mark, and a lot of things had been done poorly. So I think getting that completed and getting it turned over and getting it occupied was definitely a major milestone. It was a big asset for Alan, and I know he really desperately needed it done. So getting that done was huge. Ace Brooklyn was started about a year before the merger. It also had gone off the rails a little. So getting it on the rails and getting it completed was also a very big milestone for us. Um, Starting the interiors division was definitely a big milestone because, I wanted to, expand what we did, the services that we provided, and I think, if the ground up market kind of gets slow, the interiors market picks up. So I wanted to be diversified so that we were prepared for any potential downturn in the market. Expanding to other markets, Florida, Texas, and now Minnesota is definitely something that was on our radar, and definitely a very, very important milestone in our 10-year plan. The other thing was surviving COVID, surviving what it did to the economy. And I'm happy to say that we did not have a reduction in staff during that period. And I think we came out the other side looking, shiny and new. And definitely it was a challenge it was a challenge for all businesses, but just looking at us, it was definitely a challenge for our industry. The interiors division took a shot to the gut because people developing office space in Manhattan just ceased. So the fact that we came out the other side and ramping up the interiors division now with 2 new projects on the books already, definitely happy with how we tread the waters during the COVID.
So, continuing the theme of shiny and new, last year you implemented a rebranding. Tell us about that rebranding and what have been the results to date.
So look, I think it was a little bit of you know just some freshening up after COVID. It was just it was a 2-year period that was very dark and it was a little depressing. So I think rebranding and getting new hard hats and polo shirts and hats for the guys, and just getting some new swag out there. I think was good, and people to see the new logo and get excited. And we updated our website. So I think it just kind of revitalized and gave us some energy after the COVID lull. And I think, and then we ramped up our efforts on social media through LinkedIn and Instagram, and I think the results have been great. I think the feedback has been great. The amount of attention that we're getting due to the rebranding, I think it's all positive stuff. And I definitely think the timing of it was good.
Thanks. Tell us a little bit more about the new markets you've expanded into Florida and Texas. Seems like everyone's heading to Florida and Texas. So, but tell us about your thoughts and what you're doing in those 2 markets.
So Florida was always a market that we wanted to expand to because Florida is like New York South. It's like everybody in New York is in Florida and everybody in Florida is in New York. So the migration to Florida was for us felt like an easy one because we knew people, we knew developers down there, we knew contractors down there. So and Alan does some business in Florida, so that one was an easy one for us. Um, Texas market, we just saw a lot of big businesses migrating, so we didn't want to miss the wave. And through some of Everard's relationships, he had some good connections there, so it it became an easy market for us just through the relationships. And through one of the relationships in Texas, this opportunity in Minnesota kind of popped up. So yeah, we're happy to venture out. We're happy to learn how to build in new spaces. We're not shy about learning new things. I think the whole team looks at the opportunity of learning and gets excited about it. So yeah, we're happy. We're happy that there are opportunities there, and we're happy to serve new clients.
And so, what are you've highlighted some of the geographical opportunities. Are there any other growth opportunities, any other mergers, anything that will.
I think when we talked about years ago, when we talked about expanding, interiors was a quick and easy one to get into. But I think something else that we always wanted to do, and I think it's still kind of on our 10-year plan, is municipal stuff. So, maybe HUD or HPD or health and hospitals. We definitely want to do some city and government work because again, I think that's kind of rounding us out. Number one, to provide just more services to our client. And number two, to prepare for any downturn in the economy. Because there's always, municipal work kind of always is there for the taking, but it's definitely something new and it's definitely a different world, like how business is done. And we're doing something now in the Brooklyn Navy Yard that's kind of quasi government agency. So it's sort of getting us that experience. So yeah, it's exciting. We're happy. We're always happy to do something new. I know I am.
So, Joe, is there any part of the Joe Aiello story or the Broadway Construction Group story that you haven't shared with us that you'd like to share with us?
I'm just to talk about myself, and if you speak to people who are part of our company, or do you speak to people that have dealt with me for many, many years? My mantra is it's never about me. So I never like to be the center of focus. I always I consider myself captain of our team, right? So, I like to lead from the front. Most of the time, Wednesdays I'm in the office, the rest of the week I'm in the field. I'm on job sites. I know everything about what goes on our job sites day to day. I have my finger on the pulse of everything. I interact with every client on a regular basis to make sure that people are happy and make sure that they're, you know, it's not just happy with the way the job is going, happy with the team. Is there a synergy? Is there some bond, right? You always want to see that there's good relationships. That's the other thing about me that you will find is that I'm relationship based. Relationships with the subs, relationships with our staff, relationships with our clients. It's the center of everything that we do and the center of our success. Um, about Broadway Construction Group, I think we're a very unique construction operation because we have an ownership mentality. We think like a developer. And I don't think every CM thinks that way. A lot of CMs have a GC mentality where it's us versus them. I look at it like an all inclusive. It's all of us versus the job. It's us and the subs. So on one side of the aisle, it's us, the subs, the ownership, and on the other side is the job, right? The job is the hurdle that we need to overcome, and we'll just do it better as a team. If we band together, we succeed together. Good job for me is a job that got done on time, on budget. I want my subs to make money. I want to make money, and most importantly, I want my client to make money, so we can take the model and move it to a new project and do it all over again. So I think that's a very unique thing about Broadway Construction Group that not every CM can boast.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you for sharing your personal journey and the entrepreneurial journey of Broadway Construction. We look forward to following your growth as you move forward and expand your geographical horizons and your business horizons. Thanks a lot, Joe.
I appreciate you taking the time and the interest, Edwin. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.